How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Thornton Oakley. And if you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He is a wonderful artist, part of that Brandywine school of artists that I personally am just such a huge fan of. I think there's amazing talent that came out of that particular time and place for sure. And so let's take a look at some of his work. I really like this piece. I think that you've got a great sense of depth and perspective here, that you have, the first plane here that's got this character, then the second plane that kind of has these two, and then a third that's got this train and everything kind of in that one, and then even a fourth one back there. So it really gives you a really long sense for this whole composition piece. And there's also kind of a nice line of action that follows just with these perspective kind of lines to this vanishing point down through here that kind of trains the eye to know where to look through at that point, which is really nice as well. I think the color palette is lovely, a really muted kind of yellows and some probably some greens in there and some darks and lights. Just a wonderful piece overall. This is one of my favorites of his. I just think it seems kind of, I don't know, there's just a really nice simplicity to it that I really love, and I love these cranks and everything too. Just a gorgeous piece. Another wonderful piece of his as well. Some great anatomy and great silhouette and posing in here. And again, these muted color schemes are really something that I'm a big fan of here. Another beautiful piece of his. Really like how you have kind of this fading out of the piece in it. It's always interesting. I tend to not do that stuff in my own work, so I'm fascinated with it in other people's work, where you have this focus where there's a large amount of detail, and like right in this elephant's face is just packed full of information, and as you go away from that, you get less and less, just where it's swaths of color out there, so it really draws the eye into looking at that one particular area. And, just great stuff. So I urge you guys to check out more from him. I'll throw some links in the description below, but I did want to share a quote that I found from him, and he said, "A making clear, that indeed is art." And I think that's a great way to define it. Not that I don't think there's any one particular definition of what is and what isn't art, but I like his description here of that it's about making things clear, whether it's making the chaos clear, or clear that there is chaos that exists, or it's that whole thing that you see, or we talk about sometimes here, where in illustration it's not about just bringing the author's words to life, or let's say your storyboards to life, but it's adding that extra element of what's it really like, what's the heart of it. And animation gets in that too. It's not just telling a story, but it's telling how that story works. So let's go ahead and get into some animation as well. We're still continuing to work on our skirmish shot. Definitely still need a lot of parts here, and I think tomorrow we'll probably take a break and just do a one-off and then get back to it. I said that yesterday, but sometimes I just want to get in here and keep polishing this thing up too. So we'll see. But we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. There are newer versions available. I just personally like this one. I feel like there's a good frame rate that you get while recording, at least with my current setup that I have right now. And we're using the Goon rig from the How to Cheat in Maya series, which I'll throw a link to in the description below. Great resource for that book as well, which has a couple other rigs that are really fun and pretty low cost of entry on these rigs for sure. If you haven't been following along, check out, we've been doing this is what, part 7 or part 8, part 9, whatever. Yeah, we're just breaking down this shot. It's a two-person shot, and definitely a lot more information in this one. We've got a lot of fast action, so it takes a little bit longer to break everything down. So let's do a quick playthrough and see where we're at and see what we want to tackle. So I'm going to do actually a play blast just so that we can see it playing at frame, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll just pause the stream here while I play blast that, and we'll go. Alright, so let's get back in here. I think what I want to do for today is think I mentioned this yesterday when we were looking at this. I want to break down this stuff. So there's some movement on there. Right now that character dies off a bit here. Now there's one thing to think about while we're doing that as well. And this is more of a, not necessarily an animation specific note, but more of a shot note. And that would be that we got to think or keep in mind what we do here is going to detract from this character. Because right now the focus of the eye, as soon as this happens, is you go over here because that's where the big bulk of the movement's going. So if we do a lot of movement over here on this character where he's kind of dead, it's going to give us two competing things for the viewer's eye to look at. So what we could do is just turn our camera and have it just focus on the one character. We could totally just skip doing anything on him for right now. But I like having these broader shots. I think it works, and it lets us focus more on the animation than really the cuts or anything like that. I just tend to like these big broad shots where there's just a bunch of action and movement throughout rather than having a bunch of cuts. I don't know if that's a cop-out or not, but so we got to keep in mind that if we do a lot of movement here, I think we have to go one or two ways. We either do a lot of subtle movement, so it's just nothing big and our eye keeps over here, but we do like just kind of keep alive, or we do some big moves, because I got to say, this part right here, there's not a ton of movement there, so if we did some really big moves, we could probably focus the viewer's eye back on this character and then settle it down as he comes back. So I think we might go there. What I was thinking of is to do just kind of a maybe have him like beckon the character towards him, kind of an I don't know, I think they do that in a lot of fighting games or something, where you have like a character, you get the two characters like in Street Fighter or something like that, where you just have the character like, get over here, come here, that kind of idea. So I think we might try something like that. So let's see if we like that. So again, let's cut down our frame range. So we're just gonna be looking probably from about 20 here. Yeah, we'll start there just so we can blend the movement till 80. Let's go 85. Okay, so again, that's 65 frames that we're looking at, where there isn't much happening. So I think we want to first approach how would he recoil from that movement. So just add a little bit of movement. Then we'll have him step forward, kind of beckon the character towards him, and then grab, because I don't want to lose that. So let's see. I think we can make that work though. Okay, so let's turn our NURB curves on, and we'll turn everything on here. So let's look at the hips first, and we'll look at the translate Y's here. And we'll have them keep going down a little bit more here. Actually, maybe a little bit sooner. We'll go up a little bit here. Sooner, and then down a little bit there, so that would be what, 5 frames there, so 6 frames there, and let's go 7 frames after that, which would be 43. So let's see. I think it's probably a little too over the top, so maybe we'll scale that back a little bit more. And we'll do one more move here. So what's that, 7 frames, so this would be 8 frames, so that'd be at 51. Keep that back down there. Okay, let's see how that feels. I think we'll start the step actually about here. 78, and we'll have it get in at about 58. And again, let's get where we have 78, put that at about 60. Hold on, before we do that, let's make sure that we key it about there. And then move our 78 to about 60. And delete that. Again, let's maybe hold this hip back a few more frames. Maybe not. And we're going to want to lift that foot up. So let's push that over and up. Again, let's go ahead and rotate this up here and rotate that up there. And we'll have to get the neck working a little better. I like the puffed out chest about here, because I think you'd have a little bit of confidence after knocking him halfway across the room. Okay, this is too much this way. Move it forward a little bit more and up. Somewhere more like this. Probably rotate it a little bit. Favor that front planted foot. Yeah, rotate a little bit there. Bring that over here. Here, I'm just gonna kind of throw in a new key, I guess, here. Drop that down and back. And rotate that down. Back here and down. This one, we'll have it up and over. Back here. We're gonna have to do some counter animating with this hand, so that's okay. But so I'm not gonna worry about it too much just yet. And let's go ahead and drop that shoulder down. We'll keep it this way. I was thinking about switching it over into FK, but I think we'll keep it this way. Bring that up and over, get that elbow twist down here, bring that over. The neck needs to go down a little bit more. Still trying to get a good silhouette there. shoulder a little bit more so we can get that head out there. And let's look at the fingers here. Bend it a little bit more. Get that thumb out here, get the tip out. Curl that little finger in a little bit more. That one out a little bit. Kind of want to zero out the thumb here. Here we go. And tip the wrist over a little bit more here. Maybe bring those fingers out even a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and we want to hold that till about 46. Like to have it actually be till about, I'm not going to try and get too tight on this while we're still building everything. But let's go ahead and start loosening it a little bit on the fingers. So I'll go till about here. That elbow twist in a little bit more. Get the fingers all. Let's actually key them at about 40, 42, and we'll just relax everything a bit so that it can peel off of that a little bit more. Let's see with the thumb. And again, delete that one. Maybe a little bit more this way and over. Again, hold that basic position till about 38. And I think I have another. Go with this. We'll delete that key there. Okay, so let's grab everything. I know we like it at about 39. We'll set that. 48. We'll set that. Let's go ahead and delete what we have on 44. Set that one. Just trying to clean up everywhere in between here so we only have our main keys that we want. 53 is fine. 60 is fine. We'll delete this one. Delete that one. And eventually we'll want to get into where we're at about 81. So I'll delete this, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that one, and delete this one. Okay, so now we have a rough idea of where we want to go with this. Key there and hold that pose a little bit more. And get into there a little bit sooner. It does take a long time to get there, so maybe let's do a play blast and just look at the timing here, so we can actually see how it's going in real time here. So I'm just going to pause this and we'll do a play blast and see. All right, I mean it works. It's just really slow and bland, just moving, slowing between all the keys. So we want to mix it up more, but I think the idea is there. I think we'll need a few more frames to get in there. So I want to hit this about 4 frames sooner. So I'll hit it at about 56. So we have time to do our kind of come here feeling there. And let's look at everything that we have on this arm here. Eventually we'll get it there. Delete that one. That one's okay. Go ahead and delete that. I'm gonna hold this for a few more frames. Few frames later, so I'll grab all of this stuff. And push it back a few more frames so that we hold this still for about 1, 2, 3 more frames later. Let's have it hit sooner. Let's still hold about 2 frames more, so that kind of blends into the other move there. Where it's at there. We'll go ahead and delete this one. Bring that to about 55. And then maybe just delay it a little bit more. So I'll go a couple more frames later. So I'll hit it about here, and bring that there. So delete this one, delete that one, delete that. And then hit this about 60. Maybe even 58. 57 there. And bring this to about 60 there, so we still have a little bit of movement through there. Again, we'll have to break this down even more. It's just getting the idea so that it works a little better. Okay. And let's look at the hip there. So I think we could keep the rotate X a little bit lower here. Same there. The rotate X a little bit further down, a little more like that. Yeah, we got to get this hand coming off a little bit sooner. So let's look at that hand and the fingers here. Go ahead and hit it there, but don't have our 42 hit till about 46. So keep that a little bit tighter. Again, we'll hold it about 49, keep what we have there, and delete that one. Delete this, and that one. It starts coming off of there a little bit more. Keep it down. Maybe we'll delete this one. Try and blend those moves a little bit more. Maybe drop that shoulder. Keep it there. Get there. We'll delete this one. Again, we'll drop that shoulder down a little bit more. Bring it forward a little bit here too. Get this arm over. Put that shoulder up here. Again, I think we should try and get there a little bit quicker. And get it back. Put it about 80 at about 76, so it's back on there a little bit sooner. Alright, let's let's do a play blast and see how that works then. Alright, it's okay, but it needs to be, it just kind of pops. It peels out real slow, but then just kind of pops into that place. So let's take a look at the hips some more and try and flesh that out a little bit more. I think the idea is working a little better, but still needs a lot of work. So let's just do like the hips and the chest here. So we want 39. Let's take 42 and put that to about 46. And delete 48. Hit it about 58. Maybe 57. I'll go ahead and get that foot planted maybe at 54. And 55. And let's look at the rotate X's. Let's not get there quite yet. We'll get there about here. Maybe a frame sooner. Let's kind of ease into that a little bit more. Let's see. Let's look at our translate Z there. It feels like it definitely is a little fast. Key that one. Another frame will overshoot a little bit. Maybe we don't need to pull back that far. Okay, let's go ahead and lift that foot up a little bit more. Rotate it back. Drag the toe. Go up and over. And I'll do heel roll here and plant it down. Okay, let's do another play blast and see if that's working a little. Okay, it's better, but I think it's still too fast. So let's try and slow it down a little bit more. So we got everything here. So let's go ahead and key that on, kind of break down some more of this stuff. Key that one, delete that, delete that. Keep that one, keep that one. Again, just kind of go back in and re-simplify everything now that we've got it working a little better. So we can know when we want to keep that, delete this, delete that. Okay. And then let's start pushing some stuff around here. Let's give ourselves an extra frame here. Extra frame here. And an extra frame there. Maybe an extra frame in here too. So we kind of slowed it down about 4 more frames. Alright, let's see if that works better. We'll do another play blast here. Alright, I don't think we need more frames in there. I think it takes plenty of time to get there. But I think we don't need so much slow out and a little more slow into that position. So, still tweaking with the timing a little bit, but I don't think we need to add more frames to it. It's just we don't need, what's this? Like basically 38 to 48, almost 10 frames of slow out, really. So let's take what we have here and give me like an extra frame in there. Maybe 1 more frame in here too. I still want another couple of frames there overall. So let's go ahead and save our file and then punch in, what, like 8 frames? Maybe 12 frames in there. So let's save our file real quick. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to save an alternate version just in case we want to revert back to this. Okay, I think this timing works better. It'll give us enough time to kind of do our little come here there, but I think the thing that we need to do now is push all of this movement forward about 4 frames so he hits a couple frames before the other character finishes getting up, because right now they're pretty close to the same timing. So let's try and do either 4 or 6 frames sooner on everything on that character. So we'll go ahead and grab this. Push everything about 2 frames sooner. keyframe there just so we can slow out of that still a little bit more. Set that one, delete that, set that, and delete that. So it's a little bit smoother. Okay. And again, we'll have to go in and kind of break some stuff up a little bit more. Set that there. Give it a little more ball roll just to kind of ease into this movement here. So it peels off there a little bit more. And let's flat out that heel. Zero it out here. And break up some stuff now that we've got the overall movement working. I find that that's a fun way for me to do it. So you get a couple of poses, then you can really tweak down and favor towards which one you want to go, and then simplify everything, and then go back in and break it down a little bit more. It's kind of a mix of straight ahead versus pose to pose, kind of blending those two a little bit more. Now let's get this hand up and out a little bit more, just so it's not going at the same place as the knee. And let's go down and over a little bit more. Overshoot it a little bit. Okay, and then we've got our few frames here. Let's keep it out a little bit more. Okay, and let's look here. Let's get our index, base, mid, and tip, and our middle, and we'll curl them in, then go out again, then back in again. As much here. We'll set that one. We'll break that up a little bit more. Do a little bit on these guys as well. Probably a little bit less on those ones overall. But we still want some movement through there. So we'll just tone that down a little bit more. let's do the index base, so it's a little bit more, and the middle base, so it's a little bit less. So the index finger is the majority of the movement. And let's look at the middle section here. We'll amp that up a little bit more on the index finger as well, and same with the tip. Maybe less on the base actually, and so it'll be just a more on the tips of the finger. Yeah, I think that's a better idea overall. So we'll pull that back a little bit more. Amp up the middles a little bit more here, and the tips as well. Let's see. And let's look at the little in the ring again, and let's let those guys be pulled in a little bit more overall. So let's bring that in a little bit more, and same with this one. Maybe a little less on that mid here on the little finger. Okay, let's do a play blast and see if that reads pretty well, especially with everything else going on. So we'll turn our nerve curves off, and let's see how it works. Okay, I think it works okay, but it should be a little bit faster. So let's turn our nerve curves back on. I think the idea works. It works at that slow moment there, so the eye's kind of where it's supposed to be. So let's grab everything here. 51, and hold that for a few more frames. See if that timing works a little bit better. Do another play blast here so you can see it at speed. Okay, I think that works a little better. But I think the other thing that I want to try and nail in here before I really break down stuff even more is make sure that this character would be looking up at that character during that time so you could see that, and then that will give him the energy or the chutzpah to go jump at the other one. So I think we need to hit that acting beat on the head there too. So let's try and get that working, and then I think that's probably all we can really fit in for today. So we'll go ahead and keep what we have on the head at about 48, and then we'll have him look up a little bit here, and up there. might be a little too pushed. We'll see. Then we'll eventually get back to, I think we like it at about 75. Let's get rid of that, get rid of that. Keep that, get rid of that. Again, I think we'll lower it here so we can still get a little bit of drag. Set that one, move that over a little bit. We'll hold this for a little bit longer. And bring it down there a couple frames more. So it looks up, goes down to charge up, and looks back. So let's take a look and see if that works a little bit better. Maybe delay the head. Let's play it first and see if it just works for a timing and overall idea before we try polishing it up anymore. And again, just gonna pause this while we do another play. I think it's a little over the top and the timing isn't long enough. So I want to hold it. I think I'm okay with it kind of shooting up. I think the timing to start the move is there, but we need to hold it looking a little bit more and then only have a little bit of drag there. So let's clean that up a little bit more. So again, I think I'm okay with the timing for it getting up there. So it kind of jerks into position because you'd want to be staying alert. So I'm okay with that. But I think we need to hold at 60 till about 65. And then go ahead and let that hit it to about 71. Maybe even 66, so we can still have a little bit of movement there. Maybe not get so far down. Maybe one more frame. Okay, I think that'll be better timing. So let's play blast. Okay, I think that works better for the overall readability of that beat. So I think we time this stuff pretty well, so it reads, you kind of know which character to look at and when. So we have this slow moment here and that slow moment, but then we have that big move on the fingers. We want to exaggerate that so that the eye would know that that's the busiest thing there to read, so everything else is kind of just keep alive at that point. So you have still a little bit of movement from this character here, but the big thing is just going to be those fingers, and we might even exaggerate that a little bit more by doing something with the hand as well. Let's do that. Try to just exaggerate that even more if we can. So we could go, or do we need to universally do that? That's all right. Look about there. just to kind of exaggerate that movement even more. Okay, and then let's play blast it and see how it feels. Okay, so this is all kind of just anticipation and kind of a storytelling beat here to play off some of that other stuff, so we see a little bit of acting in these characters. You know, this character's egging him on, got that slow moment where his body starts to just kind of anticipate what he's going to do next. Same thing here. All of the you got that head move, so it kind of directs the viewer's eye to look back at the other character just in case it wouldn't be slow enough and exaggerating. We have that move kind of directing the viewer's eyes where to look again, and I think that works together pretty well. So let's take a look at how it plays in the context of everything else. Still a lot of breaking down to do, but I think that we started to get that acting beat to work a little bit better, and I think it helps give the character on the right here a little more personality, or I feel like we got a little bit more personality on this character going on throughout the whole shot, and this one kind of has a little bit of a egging him on or intimidating personality, which kind of works well. I try to get in little acting bits where you can, even in action shots, just so that it helps give a better overall sense of character. So let's do a play blast of everything and take a look back at where we started, because I think we're hitting pretty close to our time for today. So just okay. I think we still have a lot of work to do on this shot overall, but there's some stuff that's coming together. Definitely have a lot more parts to do on this one. Like I said, we might take a break in the next couple of days and do something a little bit different just to vary things up, and then get back in here to getting a couple days with fresh eyes on it too. Always helps. That's another thing too. If you feel like you're kind of stagnating in the shot that you're working on, you know, go take a walk. I know that sounds kind of strange, but it's something that I'm learning further on down the road, that if I can distance myself from the current viewpoint that I have and come back, you know, go get some coffee or go do something different, I come back with it, my eyes are fresh, whether it does like a brain refresh or whatever it is, you can kind of see things that you might not have seen while you're in the midst of creating. So that's another good thing too. But there's some stuff that's working together. I think that acting beat adds a nice little bit of a different timing beat to everything. And we definitely broke up the movement of that character during that slow period, so that's nice. But we still have a long way to go before this is fully done. But definitely have some stuff that's working a little bit better. So let's take a look at where we started. We were looking at the beautiful work of Thornton Oakley, and he said, making clear, that indeed is art. And I think that's a beautiful way to talk about it, you know, is that you want to, as a creator or as an imaginator or anything, is that you try and, even if it's your own ideals of the world or your own ideals of character design or your own ideals of animation or anything that's, you know, your expressions, is trying to make that clear and having that tunnel pathway from the original idea or imagination into sharing it with the world or expressing it outwardly, is really that thing that you want to hone, that skill, that you so have your mind clear and your spirit clear and your attitude clear, and have your body in good strength and good resolve, and being able to get that practice in and that persistence, and to try and keep that pathway as clear as you can, so that you can make it clear to others, to help them understand the world in a different way, or understand something that maybe they didn't know before. I'm getting philosophical here, but I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. Thanks for all the comments too. It seems like we're getting a lot more comments here, which is always awesome. You guys are amazing. And like I always say too, if there's stuff that you want me to check out or that you want to share with anyone else who's enjoying these videos or anything, throw it down in the description down below, because I really want to make this a community thing, so that we can all learn and grow and share together, no matter what it is that you're passionate about. If it's music, I mean, ideally I want to get to where I can bring other people in, like through Skype or something, and have them kind of talk and share their stories and stuff while I animate too, so that we can hear other people's perspectives and things that they're working on and things that they're learning and everything too. So that's, kind of down the road here, but I hope you guys enjoy this. We have a little community that we can share and learn and grow from, and if you ever want an extra set of eyes or an extra thumbs up or some extra encouragement or any of that kind of stuff, throw it down below. I know some days I get a little busy, so I can't get to the comments right away, but I always try to do that as soon as I can. And thanks a lot. You guys are amazing. I hope that you're learning something, either learning what not to do or learning different things, or at least thinking about stuff in a different way. And bare minimum, like I said, I hope that you subscribe to the channel so that every day you'll see that I'm putting a new video up, and every time, even if you don't end up watching it, you'll remember this little conversation that we had here together, and you'll get out there and you'll carve out 5 minutes of your day to work on your own dreams. So I'm getting rambly. Thanks again. I love you guys lots. You're amazing. If you're watching this, remember you are the creative future, so go out there and make something. And I think that'll wrap it up for today, so we will see you for some more animation or imagination or creativity, just sharing ideas together tomorrow.